So Brian, we're fortunate enough to have an opportunity to come out on the golf course today and spend a little time here talking about some on-course situations and possibly bringing into play some shots that we're not real comfortable with or not real familiar with. Recognizing your past and knowing that you play from a pretty de-lofted position with the golf ball, we get into a situation here where we are effectively short-sided on a par 5, a place that we spend a lot of time when our long irons aren't working well. You know, this is a spot where we talked earlier about trying to emphasize the loft of the golf club and utilize the bounce a little bit more, not to create so much compression, but to create a little bit more spin and a little more slide of the golf ball off the club face.
Feels so weird.
So we've had a little bit of time to practice this on the practice facilities, but ultimately getting out on the golf course and seeing this on the course is really going to create an easier time of finding comfort on the golf course and trusting that you can use this shot on the golf course. I think that's really the hardest thing to apply once you get into a competitive situation. Again, just not the understanding and the recognition of what's going to happen when you hit these shots. So really want to emphasize again the ball position, playing a little more forward than what you might be comfortable with for this little wedge shot, and really trying to open the face of the golf club and get the back of the sole or the bounce of the golf club more in play. Again, one of those situations where we just have to spend a little time with it and get comfortable with the recognition of how much swing is necessary. I know typically inside of 50 or 60 yards, you're never often taking a backswing more than waist high.
No, normally when I step up, you know, until you showed me that shot, I would always just do kind of like this little thing. But then, I mean, it's gone. I can never really get it too close, or at least when I'm short-sighted, I'm kind of...
Yeah, we get onto firm greens, and that's a situation where you're very limited in what you can expect out of the result of that shot. So let's just continue working on and focusing on what that club face position is at address, and again, trying to create a little bit a more aggressive release of the golf club through the ball and emphasize the speed as we work through the hit.
That is so awkward to take such a big swing. I just want to like stop.
So those are both just a little bit of a decel. So we just have to really understand that we're effectively playing a shot here with 80 degrees aloft on the golf club. So even a full swing, this golf ball is not going to go more than 30 yards.
The thing went like 3 feet after it landed. The last one went like 25 feet. That feels so awkward.
So just understanding your address position and really recognizing what the club face angle is at address is going to really promote and give you more options when we get around the greens. And ultimately, to get back into scoring as well as you can, I think we want to emphasize and have as many options as we can once we get into these scoring positions and get around the greens.
In essence, would you say like I feel like I'm flipping at it?
Yeah, certainly. I think the right hand takes over way more in this specific shot than what you would typically see or typically want to preach in a traditional golf swing.
Gotcha. You know what, even when I played in college, I never really hit this shot just because, like, well, one, nobody ever showed it to me, but two, it just felt like, yeah, but it's necessary though.
Yeah, ultimately, if we're going to score the best that we can, this is a shot that we want to have in the bag, but definitely want to reserve it for situations where it's mandatory. You know, this isn't the shot that we would recommend you try to emphasize when we are in the middle of the fairway with nothing in front of us and no trouble. This is completely a get out of jail technique, and not something that we want to go to first. This is kind of our, you know, worst case scenario, and we have to get this ball up and down. Well, much happier with the speed through impact of those last 4 or 5 swings. Feels like there's a little bit more comfort knowing the club can move that fast and not feeling like it's going to make the golf ball go too far.
It feels insane. I can't believe I'm swinging this big to hit a shot.
Yeah, worst case scenario with this shot is just as good a shot as you might be able to get with that hooded club face and hitting that little trapping pitch shot that runs out.
Right.
So I want to start to see you utilize this on the golf course when the option shows up. When you start seeing more results like that, it's going to be more comfortable. It's going to be easier to trust that this is the appropriate play.
Yeah, that is a big swing for such a short shot, but once you showed me, I knew I could do it, but to trust it is a different story.
Yeah, those are all looking great.
They're not rolling out, that's for sure.
So first we want to emphasize and make sure we're in the appropriate position to utilize this shot. And like we've talked about in the past with the commitment and the visualization of the play, you know, once we do recognize this is the play, commit to it and get yourself set up and try to execute.
That is crazy.
Real happy with it, Brian. Keep up the good work.